So Ricardo, here we are, Bainbridge Regional. You reached top cuts. What did you play and how was your experience?
It was really good, first of all. Awesome, like, host and everything. And the deck was also sick. I played Volcanic Fire Pile. I like to call it Volcanic Shitstorm, if I'm allowed to swear.
You're fine. Insane. We saw you doing crazy things with this deck. You ended up getting 12th place, correct?
Yeah.
Just missed out on that top 8, but
Yeah.
your deck was doing amazing things. We're going to get into your list. Did you have any shout-outs you want to give?
I mean, just usual things to all my friends, the people I rode with, the One Up TCG. Check them out if you never heard of them. And that's about it.
Awesome. Well, let's get into your list and see what you played.
Yes, sir. So I've got it sorted by, like, package, and the main part of the deck, it's not a small thing, is the Volcanics, obviously. So we have 3 Volcanic Trooper. He's the guy who, like, helps you enable the FTK. 3 Shell. If you know Volcanic cards, you know what Shell does, and he's equally important here as he's ever been. 2 Emperor, because he is the he's what makes this deck's trying to go for an FTK when it goes first, by the way. He's the guy who makes the FTK happen. You could play him at 1, and I've kind of considered it, but there's like weird grind game states where you kind of want to. But yeah, he's really good. He's just an inherent summon by banishing 3 Pyros or Blaze Accelerator card from field or grave, and then he burns them for each banished Pyro and sets a Volcanic trap, which is how you do the FTK.
FTK, insane.
Yeah, and 2 Rimfire. This card's crazy. 2 effects, not once per turn. He banishes himself to dump a Volcanic, or can banish a Blaze Accelerator to place the Blaze Accelerator. He's fantastic. Like, all these cards just generate a lot of value. This guy is the worst card in the deck to draw, but he's really good in combination with another card that we'll get to. So if you wind up making this deck and you're like, damn, Scattershot kind of sucks, yeah, he kind of does sometimes, but if he stays out of your hand, or if you only see one of them, then he's pretty worth it. He didn't show up in my hand a lot today, so I appreciated him. This is the crazy card, is Volcanic Blaze Accelerator. This thing, if you guys don't know what it does, it's soft once per turn. It has 2 effects. You can either, well, not either, you can do both in the same turn. You can special summon a Volcanic monster from your hand, or you can target a monster on the field and send a level 1 Pyro monster from your deck to the grave, and if you do, you destroy it. So that works in combination with him going first to do the FTK, because he can give your opponent a bomb token by discarding a card. So you can use this on your first turn, and even when you're not going for the FTK, this is still really good to, like, it can dump Snake Eyes if you're doing like a Promethean Princess line, and then obviously it dumps Rimfire, dumps Shell, whatever you need it to do. This is a brick you have to play this card, because to activate it, you have to send this card, not a Blaze Accelerator card. It has to be this card, but like, it's okay. If you draw it going second sometimes with like this, and then that's pretty cool, because you can just pitch, pop a bunch of cards. You do lose out on the battle phase though, so you know, you got to be careful with that. This is the trap for our Emperor. 2 effects. The main effect you're trying to go for in this list is you target a Pyro on the field. If it's yours, you do the full attack for full attack as damage. If it's, or half attack if it's yours. Full attack if it's theirs. It's gonna be yours because nobody's playing Pyros but you. And then it has a second effect to summon a Volcanic from deck. You're using it for that first effect, but in like grind game scenarios, sometimes you'll use the second one. There's a second trap you could play that I kind of wanted to play, which is like it's not an imperm, but it's just like a monster effect negate, and then it burns for 5. But I didn't want to put like too many bricky cards in this deck, so I just skipped out on it. This card is the card that makes this really good. So this does 2 things, and sorry if I'm explaining a little too much, but the FTK actually plays through a lot of hand traps and insulates itself from a lot of hand traps. There's some very specific things it can lose to, like books, but this does a couple things in that it makes the FTK no longer lose to a book, because if this is in your grave, that's 1,500 more damage, and the books will only stop 1,500 damage. And if you're not killing them, this is in your grave to be a Raigeki on their turn, which is a very strong interruption.
Insane.
And then, like, as you're breaking boards, which the deck's actually surprisingly good at, considering there's very little non-engine in it, it can cycle a Volcanic out of your hand to draw. All the Volcanics have like good grave effects, so it's a very solid card. Just a 1 of, because you don't want to see it too much. Same with this, cringe 2 of, because I'm basically playing 5 of her, and I don't want to open like 1 of this and 2 of this, because then those hands get kind of rough. You just want 6 different cards, but if you're playing a fire deck, you know how good these are. Snake Eye package is the pretty standard Snake Eye package you see in every other fire deck, along with this. I don't have a second target for this, even though I kind of want to. Somebody try some stuff out, let me know. This was really mid, but I also didn't really like see him much today. I drew this guy. Yeah, he's a one of. That's not by like me being broke. It's just because like I didn't think I wanted a second copy, and it didn't wind up mattering. If I drew him, he was just like the normal summon to go for. And then of course everybody knows these cards are crazy, so you can just. Somebody asked if you get drolled, what you do. And you just do kind of like Fire King, where you like set up a board where it's like Princess, IP Engrave, Appaloosa, SP, stuff like that. So you just set up a strong board if you can FTK. More packages to help facilitate what the deck's trying to do. There's a Fire King package. These are all one-ofs because they all kind of suck to draw on their own, except for him, because he enables, you to get to this card, which gets to this card, which does a couple things. If you don't know what this card does, when it's destroyed, you send a fire monster from your deck to the grave. So if you're only seeing like one piece of the Fire King engine, you're going for this to pop the Kieran, and then that gets you to your other engines if somehow you didn't see them. But these cards are all really good, obviously. Like Kieran's fantastic, Ponix is fantastic. A second target for Ponix will be great, and if I change any things in the deck, then I might do that, but I just didn't want to brick on like Circle or anything, because the deck obviously has to play some funny stuff. Speaking of funny stuff, this is the main FTK enabler, is these two cards. This card is an undefined summon. You summon it from your deck by sending a level 4 or lower monster and a spellcaster, which is why in this deck, this card isn't just like a gotcha moment for when they mess up. It's a combo piece, because you turn whatever level 1 into this, so you can send it off to summon this. This card, when it's summoned by its effect, does damage to your opponent equal to the attack of a monster on their field. They're going to have a monster on their field that you gave them, which is the Bomb token, which has 1,000 attack. And when this is sent to the grave from field, you add this card from your deck to your hand. This card just says tribute a fire monster, deal damage to your opponent equal to its attack. So the FTK, to basically explain what it is just, I'll just grab these guys. This is the gist of it. You end with more so that you don't just like fold to hand traps, but it's just these cards right here. This is all it is. You do like 4,500 to your opponent on your first turn, and then you pass, and then in their draw phase you emission, and it'll do 1,550, and then you cure an eye, and that'll do the rest of their life points. And like I said, there's other stuff, so it's not just going for that and you lose to every hand trap in the game, but I'll get to that when we get to the extra deck. Then moving on from those, there's a small Horus engine. This is just because like this is a thing people always negate, so if you open this along with this, they get punished for it. A third Horus name would have been cool. Kind of came up a few times today where I wish I had it, but it was the same concept where I didn't want more bricks in my deck for more power, because yeah. We have Magician Souls is just a good extender out of 2 of, so you don't open multiples of it. It gets Witch Engrave, so you can bridge engines. If you got value off your Sark and your Fire King cards, like Sanctuary, you can send those off to get more draws. You can send Reload to set it up in grave. This is really good. I only saw it a couple times today, but I've been playing this deck for a few weeks, and it's been really good since I put it in. Jet Synchron. This is probably cuttable at this point, but it's like a good secondary fire to send for the baby Kieran, but I used him a lot today, like play through Nib, so you don't just completely fold by committing your other engines, but he's solid. Bonfire, because we're playing a fire deck, but it actually searches all of these guys. It's not just to get Populous in this deck.
Yeah, it actually searches my Volcanic cards.
Yeah, it's a super extra consistency card. Super good, obviously. The only non-engine in the deck was these 3 tactics, because it just made the most sense to me. Playing into a Fire King board, you can take and, go from there. Like, this deck plays really well into boards. You just have to be super, super smart about it. Sequencing is so important. I had a game against my friend Trevor that I lost last week at Locals. He's an incredible player, by the way, but I did kind of mess up where, like, had I done one thing different, I probably could have won that game. But it's just, the deck's really good at playing through boards. You just have to be really, really good with your sequencing. And that's why we settled on talents. Also, just if we get drolled or shifted, obviously we're not doing anything when we get shifted, so we're going to maybe punish them if they did it during the main phase, take a card out of the hand. But yeah, talents was really good whenever I saw it. I didn't draw this today, but this card's been really good every time I've ever seen it. It's so it's like a bad Monster Reborn when you activate it, because you send a card to summon a fire monster from graveyard, but you can shuffle it from, or you banish it from grave to shuffle 3 fire monsters from deck into grave to draw a card. which in this deck means you get like 2 more shell activation. So it's 2 more cards in your hand. If you wound up not playing it, I'd get it, because Monster Reborn itself is just like a really strong card right now. But if you mill it off of Zombie Vampire, which is obviously in the extra deck, it's really strong. It's always been good when I've seen it, but I didn't see it today, so that was tough. And then 1 for 1. This card's crazy. Level 1 extenders. Then on to the extra deck. This is our bomb token. And start with the Link 1s. This is a combo piece, like I said, to bring out your Inari Fire to kill them. Link Rebo is really good. If you've played any of the fire decks that are packed with level 1s, it's super obvious why. And obviously it works in conjunction with SP. I played 2 today, but I might go down to 1 just to like squeeze some other like funny stuff in the extra deck. But like this card, it was great. It's always going to be great. IP for when we can't kill them and we have to make a board. Sunlight Wolf for the same reason, and mostly just because like it's a Link 2 to make with your Princess instead of going straight into Whale. There's Hita and then Dark. These guys are fantastic, obviously, because we play these. There's a million fire decks in the format. There's a million decks with the Bellstar, and their effects were both great all throughout the day. Pit Knight early is just like a secondary interruption that you can make when you're not killing them off IP or either just on your turn. Because I ran into that a lot where I didn't have anything to make. Like I'd end on SP and have nothing else to make that wasn't SP. So I put this in, and it was really good. There was like OCG Fire King decks that did this, and you can pop it and it brings itself back. So it was nice. It was very solid. This card's insane. Obviously, she was fantastic. There was times where I'd have like multiple normal summons, and I'd have to give it to something else, but then this could bring Trooper out of my graveyard, and then we could like FTK from there, or just build a bigger board, or start breaking their board. Like, she was phenomenal. Just absolutely phenomenal. Celine, which I might consider cuttable at this point, but like it's for the Magician Souls thing. You bring out your Black Witch off her, and then you have access to one Snake Eye if you didn't have them before. And then you can just make like a Appaloosa, which is right here, to play around hand traps, insulate from other things. Access Code Talker, because you kind of do the Rescue Ace thing, where you don't commit super hard, and then you make this, and it's 53, and then since Emperor can just summon itself super easily, that's 8,400 damage there. So this is a super clean OTK line if you can do it. Maybe fit Stellantis in here somewhere if you can, but you know, I only didn't do that because I had a lot of times where I couldn't go for game, and I figured like this might be better if I just need to pop cards. But this also could have been like Underworld Goddess. I think I made this once today, so Whale for Princess combos, and then the only Xyz is Zombie Vampire. And I do want more rank 8s in the extra deck, but this was just fine. It did its job.
Insane. Did you have a side deck for the event?
Oh yeah, it was Fez. All right. I figured I had to make it at like 6 a.m. So for today, all we did was 3 Cosmics, because it's really good against the other fire decks, and like random things. I was just like trying to cover the most ground I could with it. Same for this card. Please don't mind the mismatch rarities. I left them home. Also really good against fire decks. Obviously, this card's just incredible going second. This deck likes to just play through boards instead of trying to hand trap people. And this card's just really, really good at that. Might change in the future. There was supposed to be a Kurakara in my side, but I forgot it. I forgot when I was filling out my list what I was trying to put in my deck. Nib, I didn't side it in. It was okay. Because I think the siding patterns for this deck I haven't quite figured out. I think you get like 6 sides in most matchups. And the same matchups I would bring these in are the same matchups I was trying to like bring these and these in. So this just like never mattered. And the decks where it could matter play around it too well. Bells were like a concession for Labyrinth, which I didn't play against today because the only way that deck wins is if they 4-card combo you into DDG, and this card stops it, usually. And then Droll for all the decks you can Droll, which I also saw 0 times today, but you know, the side was fine. One thing I probably should have done is made a little more of a consideration towards Flaunderies, which was my last loss, which it was less Flu and more Shifter and Featherstorm, but you know, those cards are in the deck, so I just put that deck on Better Have It, because that's the only way this deck will actually lose to that deck. If they go first, you can just kill them through their board. So
insane. We saw you doing some amazing things. I know this is a pretty convoluted deck. Did you have any changes you anticipated making?
I mean, it's like I said, going through it, you could play Emperor at 1. You could add the third horse name if you want to. There's a lot of things you could like move around, and I'm not really set in stone on anything because I just like, I've been making this up as I go. I made it on a whim, not expecting it to even like do well at the locals, but it's been performing super well, so I brought it today just to like see how far it got, and it was fantastic. I loved it. Obviously, I had some opponents who were not super fortunate at every point, but even in the times where my opponents were like setting up, the deck just felt good. There was never a time where I went second and I looked at my hand and was like, damn, I wish I had a hand trap. Yeah, it was nice.
Insane. Again, I know that we're going to be looking forward to seeing you play this some more. Did you have any final shout outs or remarks?
Same as before, man. Shout out to all my friends that I came with, all my friends at home. Shout out to the awesome hosts of the event. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Congratulations, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.